Well, I'm on my way to a new permission today. House is from 1880. It's on what used to be the main street through town, and now it's just a side street because the main street was actually moved over a block in the 1880s, right around the same time this house was built. So as I was saying, this house was built around 1890 on what used to be the main street through town. The main street was moved, but this was an estate built on the street, one of the first. But there are the two oldest houses in town are on this street as well. So hopefully we can find something good. I only have a few hours between rainstorms, so I'm going to do along the curb, along the sidewalk real quickly today, and we'll see how far we get. Stay tuned. And of course, as always, I've got my Simplex. I've got it in Park 2 today. I don't think anything is going to be really deep, but there could be a lot of trash along the sidewalk here. So I'll stick to Park 2 for now. One bar down from full sensitivity, and we'll see what we get. Stay tuned. Well, unfortunately, the first hole of the day, it was giving me a good 68 to 70 squeak on the machine, but it's just a soda cap. All right, on to the next. Well, there must be more in here. This was bouncing all over the place, down in the 20s, up to the 90s. Here's a buffalo. So stay tuned. We'll see if there's anything else in the hole. Well, the culprit was a hair barrette sitting on the surface. So it's a barrette and a buffalo. Cool. On to the next. And another example of why you dig carefully and wear gloves. I have gloves on my filming hand, so don't worry, I am safe. Well, I'm not sure what it is, but it's interesting. It's something old. Yeah, we'll look into it and see what we can find out. Well, I hate these darn rose tags. They scream at you from the hole. Say, dig me, dig me. But, oh well, on to the next. Well, I just found a Jefferson nickel, and I stopped to talk to somebody going by, and the signal got better. So, no, it's a clad quarter. I had my hopes up that it might be silver, but just a clad. Alright, well, we'll scan it again before we cover it all back up. Oh, a key. That's pretty interesting. So far, nothing really old other than that buffalo nickel. This is kind of old. I think this is an old car key, but we'll clean it up and see what we get. But there's still a lot more sidewalk to go and a huge yard. But the best thing we found was 2 more permissions. So I wear my orange shirt around town. People know me, people hear about me, and people see me and say, oh, you're that guy. So I had 2 people stop and talk to me for a long time, and they invited me to detect at their houses. So now I've got 2 more. So I did get, oh, I'm sorry, I got 3 permissions because the neighbor came out and saw me. So I got 3 new permissions. Well, the other day before the floodwaters came, I managed to get in a little bit of a test. Now, it's not really a scientific test, but I have the stock coil for the Simplex, of course, and I have the SP24, the little tiny coil. Now, I did the entire curb strip. It's about 200 feet all around the corner. I did that with the SP24 very thoroughly. And I have a method for it. So I stand on one of the squares and I go from side to side, front to back, cover the whole thing. and I go to the next square. So I did that the entire length. I did that the entire length, and then I switched to the stock coil and did it again. Now, there were two reasons why. One was to see if I missed anything because of the size of the SP24. And the other is because I keep hearing that the stock coil, of course, because it's bigger, has better depth. But what I found was pretty surprising. First of all I missed was one penny, a memorial, in 200 feet of curb strip. The other thing I noticed is that with the stock coil, there's a lot more chatter than there is with the SP24 for a number of reasons. But so when you get a signal, it's clearer with the SP24, even though it doesn't cover as much ground. It does just as good a job as the stock coil. In some cases, it does even better. So unless I'm doing a farm or a beach or someplace where there's not a lot of metal and there's a lot of ground to cover, I think this SP24 is my new go-to coil. So, all right, stay tuned. Well, it's sunshiny now. The rain was really bad the other day. It started coming down. There was actually historical flooding in town. So today we're back and give it another try, finish up. The only thing we found the other day was a 1936 Buffalo nickel. And I don't normally do this with my coins, but I cleaned this one up because I'm going to give it to the family just as a thank you for letting me detect here. So I don't normally clean my coins, but this one I did because I'm giving it to them, and they made more 1936 buffaloes than any other year, so it's really not worth a whole lot, but hopefully they'll enjoy it. So stick around, anything good I'll bring you out. Well, the first find of the day is a lead weight for a tire, for balancing it. It looks like it's right here in the middle of the lawn, but back in the day, when the house was built till probably about 20 or 30 years ago, there was a driveway that went all the way around the house and actually connected with the street in 3 different places. So I have a hunch that most of the lawn here is new or reworked when they got rid of all those all that paved surface around the house. So that would explain why there's a lead weight here in the middle of the yard, and why we're not finding anything particularly old if all this is new. But we'll stick with it a little bit longer and see what we find. Well, this was a screamer in the hole. I don't know quite what it is, but I'll clean it up, see if we can figure it out. Looks like some kind of a locket or something like that, but cool. I found quite a few things with butterflies on them here in town, so that's very cool. Well, that was a tough one to extract, but it's an old spoon. So finally starting to find some interesting things. So we'll clean that up, see what we got. I don't think it's silver, but you never can tell. And just off to the side from both that locket thing was right there, the spoon was right there, and now here was a little old bottle. Well, I'll clean that up, see if we can figure out maybe there's coins inside, who knows. Well, that sounded really good. It looks like the wheel to a shut-off valve for the water or something like that, but it sounded awesome. So, oh well, gotta dig it all. And speaking of sounding awesome in the hole, there was a screamer. Not sure what it is, but anything flat gives back a really good signal, and this was awesome. Well, another car key. This one's a Chrysler. There's the star on it. I believe that's a Chrysler. So cool. It's not all that old, but it's not all that new either. So I don't think it belongs to the family, but I'll check with them. I know exactly what this is. I have an old house here in town, and I have the same thing. These mount on the wall, and there's a bar that goes between them, so you can hang little curtains and things like that on them. So yeah, I've got the same thing in my house. These are old and original, but looks like they upgraded it sometime. So, like I said, around the house was a carriage ring, and there were 3 entrances to the street. One on the street over there, and then 2 on the street behind me. So the carriages, I mean, the most of this was paved at one time, or probably gravel or dirt or something like that. But I can see that this is fill dirt here, where part of the carriage road would have been. So that's why I'm not finding anything particularly old. The closer I get to the house, it's all modern stuff, and just the usual scraps from the house, flashing nails, screws, things like that. But nothing so much really old. I'll give it a little bit longer, and then we'll call it when we call it. Well, I'm not quite sure what it is. I'll clean it up. We'll see what it is together. It's been nicked by a lawnmower at some point, but my eyes, I didn't bring my glasses, so I can't tell what it is. I got another pull tab signal, and it's not a pull tab. That is cool. All right, we'll clean it up. We'll see it right here. Hey, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. So, all right, see you in the next time.